appropriate time of the day to you, friends and enemies. I am Richard, and this is LMTD FFR, or say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels. Yeah, and we are back here with Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. So we're going to continue on with this, and we're at Island, and we're just about to encounter, well, we're a little way off of encountering that problem. The one with the goat. So here we are. We've been talking to these people, and I'm pretty sure we talked to this guy about everything. Let's just go over and have another look. Hello again.
Hi there, old timer. What? Nasty cold you've got.
Oh, maybe not.
As soon as the words left my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty?
Maybe I just saved it beforehand.
Rather,
well.
says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. It's the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
No, look at all of this. We've got all of these to listen to. I'm certain I have done these before, but we will bash through them very quickly. We're not going to actually listen to them, because I'm just going to do it.
Very kind, I'm sure.
What's wrong with it?
Just in case. I cannot remember what does and does not
that you're
trigger
missing?
stuff.
It's a necklace?
Oh,
Yes, it's the wire necklace for catching rabbits. Snare.
can you tell me how to get into the castle?
Don't even think about it, me.
Right, yes.
Lochbarn Castle is haunted.
That's what the kid outside told me, but I don't believe it.
Then you're a fool.
Ghosts don't bother me. I still want to visit that castle.
You
You
can't.
know, as I said,
Not open to the
no,
public.
ghosts don't
There's
bother
no
you.
one around to stop
You've
me,
met
is there?
Emily.
That's
Oh, you haven't
right.
yet, but you will meet
Nothing
Emily.
human, anyhow.
Dun dun dun. What about ghosts? Tell me about ghosts.
Have
Ghosts.
you ever seen the ghost?
To be sure. With me very own eyes.
Can you describe the ghost?
It was horrible. A wee stunted beast. Long beak. Straggly, flappy wings.
Are you sure it wasn't a wild animal? A rabbit or a skunk or something?
Skunk. In Lochbarn? That'll be the day. No.
Really? Why?
It was a ghost.
Why will that be the day? Right, tell me more about
I
this
think
ghost.
I know what you saw on the castle wall.
I know what I saw.
I don't think so. It was the kid, McGuire.
What?
He was up on the wall last Tuesday night.
Oh,
He
wow.
thought you were the Phantom of Lochmarn.
Oh.
Classic mistaken identity thing. Alright,
Do you
tell
know
me something
Cleveland,
about the
the
professor.
archaeologist?
That's the scrawny fellow who was... No, I don't...
Alright, and I'm pretty sure we've gone through all of these, but these,
No.
I'm just gonna go through. How about this photograph? And this
What
photograph?
does this...
No.
And this photograph? And then we'll do
What
these.
does this...
Nothing.
I didn't realise when I first played this game years and years ago the number of clues they're leaving down for the matchbook itself.
Could you...
Aye.
Everybody is saying, no, it's not in Paris. That is a Middle
Hey,
Eastern
would you like to
design.
shake my...
So yeah.
Take a look at this.
I don't...
Alright, thank you very much.
I'll see you later.
Right, now we're going to stand over here. And we're going to wait until you're fiddling with the stuff. Yeah! And then we're going to pick it up while you're sneezing. Yoink!
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed his piece of wire.
Yeah! Now I'm going to talk to you about this wire. Because I just want to show off the wire that I've stolen.
Hello again.
What?
Mm.
Here, this wire belongs to you.
Oh, no. Never saw it before. No.
I guess catching rabbits via snare traps is illegal. I didn't know that. Alright, well, let's see what you make of this wire. Because I know what I've got to do with the wire ultimately, but I want to experience
Excuse me?
all of the
Yes, sir?
exciting dialogue. Wait, all of these have reset.
Does this piece of wire mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Oh well.
Look, I gotta be... Hey! Hello there again, mister.
Hey, talk about the wire.
Does this piece of wire mean anything to you? Not me, mister. Bye for now. Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there. What now?
What do you make of this piece of wire?
It looks ordinary enough to me.
Yeah, it does indeed.
Goodbye for now.
Alright then, you.
The young red-haired guy was plainly nervous about something.
Well, let's talk to you and see what you're nervous about. That and your box.
My name's George.
Pleased to meet you, mister. My name's Fitzgerald.
That hair does not look red. In the cutaway there. So, tell me about this tool.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Something to do with horses?
Wrong. It's for opening manhole covers.
Oh, really? Well, you learn something every day.
Don't you just. How about this photograph?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
What about this photograph?
Check out this pass.
Thomas Merlin? No, never heard of him.
What about this photograph
What
here?
do you suppose this wire is used for?
How should I know?
Oh well, shake my hand
Shake
then.
my hand.
It's a trick, isn't it?
Damn it, you're right. I can't seem to fool anyone.
You've got to wait for them to offer you a handshake. That is the way that you trick someone. By making them think it was their idea. Yes, if you watch LMTD, TM, FFR, then you too will learn how to trick people.
Ever seen this towel before?
Doesn't it belong on the bar?
Very observant, Fitzgerald.
Well, Fitzgerald, tell me about this thing.
Does
What do you
this
make of it?
matchbook mean anything to you?
No.
Dirty old hanky?
What does
Would
this
you like
tissue
one?
suggest to you?
Nothing.
Yes,
What
I'm
does this
remembering
red
where all
nose
these things are
suggest to you?
used.
Blood.
Why's that?
I used to bleed a lot when I was a kid. Every time there was a playground scrap, I'd end up with a bloody nose. I wouldn't have minded, but I wasn't even involved in the scraps.
Oh dear. Alright, well, tell me about the castle. No, let me buy you a
Can I
drink
get you
first of
another
all.
drink?
Oh, no, thank you. I shouldn't be drinking at all. I'm on tablets for my nerves. More than a pint and I'll pass out.
Now originally that seems like it should be hinting at, hey, give him more than a pint. But no, sadly, that is not the fate of this character.
What can you tell me about the castle?
There's nothing there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Really?
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I used to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little uns fell off the wall, broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Ah, you lying
Professor
person.
Pegram?
He's the archaeologist, isn't he?
That's right. Did you work at Professor Pegram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
That is a concise
See you
little
later.
icon there for summarizing dig at the castle. It used to just be a spade or shovel, but now it isn't. What is this? Can we look at this? No, we can't. Let's go and talk to these people around. He definitely was there. Go on, tell me that.
Yes, sir.
No, that's not what I wanted to do.
Look, I got it.
Which one of you is
Hey.
it?
Hello there again, mister.
You told me he worked there, but he said he didn't. One of you two is lying, and I won't rest until I get to the bottom of this mystery, because I'm an adventure protagonist. Adventure game protagonist.
Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick.
Same again. Just a pint this time, Michael.
1 pint of brown coming up.
Yeah, that is not brown. Now, tell me.
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to
Which
think
it
of
was.
It was
You're
only
hilarious.
last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
Not students. That's horrible. What about you?
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there. What now?
Do you remember
Do you know
Sean?
Sean Fitzgerald?
Yes, I do. What you want with him?
I want to talk to him about working at the dig.
I can't imagine anyone employing Sean Fitzgerald on a dig. He wouldn't know a post hole from his elbow.
Goodbye for now.
Good to know. What about you? Do you know about him? And then we'll go outside and we'll talk to the kid. Briefly. Before coming back inside. We're delaying this because
Hello again.
poor Sean Fitzgerald and his fate. Nope. Alright, you don't know anything. Hello again.
I'll see you later.
I'll run away now. Alright, kiddo. You're gonna tell me everything you know
Hey, McGuire.
What?
about this piece of
What do you
wire.
think this wire could be used for?
Stealing cars. There's
Really?
only one problem.
The local policeman?
There's no
No.
cars.
Nobody in Lochmarn has got a car.
Oh, I swear I am not remembering these jokes. I'm just telling them because they are crap.
Do you know anything about Pegram's dig?
He wouldn't let me anywhere near it. I offered to help, but he chased me off. I didn't want to see his smelly old hole anyhow.
That could have been phrased better.
Did anyone from the village work at the dig?
Pegram brought some students and bums with him. He reckoned no one in Lochmarn would know what to look for. The only local guy who worked for him was Sean Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald says he's never been anywhere near the dig.
He's having you on, mister.
He's a lying little toe
See you
rag.
later, kid.
Okay, mister.
We should treat him with respect because he's about to die. I know his fate
The young red-haired guy.
because
was
I am
clearly
as psychic
nervous about
as the
something.
old flower cell. So,
Mr. Fitzgerald?
tell me about the dig.
Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig. He's seen you there. You might as well admit it.
I knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
Oh
You're
my
not
god.
on Social Security.
Oh no, what makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefits at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he?
What package? The one on the table that I am looking after and mysteriously handling every so
So where
often?
did Pegram
Of
go?
course not.
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving. He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
I don't
Show
remember
me to
who
the
Marquet
package, Sean.
is.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
You don't know these people either, do you? You met Pegram a few times on the dig. Did he expose his whole conspiracy to you?
This is your last chance
That's
to show me
weird.
the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
Yeah, but who is Marquet?
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give
Never
the
heard of
package
him
to
or
me.
seen him or done anything. No!
No. Why should I trust you?
Because
I
I'm an
don't want to
American.
trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem.
Oh, Gem! Run outside! No, what's happening?
Hey, I just seen a big red.
Get out of here, McGuire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy maker.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Let's go outside and find... Nah, actually, before we rush out, let's see if we can talk to people and unlock hidden dialogue that we haven't seen before.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how about another drink?
Same
Nah,
No, I'm serious. Have you considered turning McDevitt's into a cocktail bar? Cocktails
this
are
is
chic,
different.
cool, and popular with younger drinkers.
What? Kids in the bar? Can you imagine it? Pinball, pimples, and puke.
Right, I get the picture. I'll settle for a glass of stout.
Alright, there we go.
Look, I gotta be going.
I mean, I've had 3 pints.
Hello there. Aren't you gonna help Fitzgerald?
Ah,
What
yes,
does he
something.
need my help for?
Didn't you hear what McGuire said? He's been hit by a car.
What an idiot. People call me stupid, but I've never done that.
Don't you feel any sympathy for poor Fitzgerald?
He never bothered about me, so why should I?
Ouch.
Bye for now.
Community.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
That's what I
Hello
always say.
there. What now?
Don't
Let-
you think we should go
Yes,
help Fitzgerald?
quickly,
If he's
go
been
help
hit
him.
by a car, he could be injured.
It's high time there was stiffer legislation against careless motorists.
What we need is a bypass around the village. One of them ring roads, like the M25.
Why would you care? Well, alright, fine. I mean, the M25 is... No? You got nothing to say there. That was just a rogue
Bye
icon.
for now.
Alright, okay. Hey! Do you want to come outside and sneeze all over a corpse?
Hello again. What? I'm looking for Sean Fitzgerald. Have you seen him?
Never heard of him.
Don't you come from around here?
None of your business. I didn't ask where you come from, did I?
I'm from California.
That's your problem.
Ah, what
Did
about...
you ever see Fitzgerald at Peagram's Dig?
I never heard of either of them.
Ah, well, there we go.
I'll see you later.
Let's go see the exciting animatic.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I. And I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass. But the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
Dun dun dun! Let's see what our thing says. What a beautiful village. Nico and I must really be onto something here. Ancient manuscripts, a nice Templar, and a tripod from the medieval manuscript. All I need now is a gem that goes with it. I'll start asking the locals about Pegram and his dig. Came across this guy, Sean Fitzgerald, who was nervous as a long-tailed cat. I mean, long-tailed cats aren't necessarily nervous, but they're meant to be long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. Because then they get petted by too many old grannies, and they don't like that. So that's why they're nervous. He'd been given a package by Pegram, and told to give it to someone called Jack Marquez. Marquez? No, it's not Marquez. Well, there we go. I just heard the name and I can't remember it. I am terrible with names. Fitzgerald panicked when I caught him out. When I caught him out? I guess you did catch him out on his lies. He rushed out of the pub and was run over by a leprechaun. Khan rented a leprechaun suit. It must be him. Yep, probably.
Hey, McGuire.
You got anything else to say? Tell me about the leprechaun.
Does Pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask.
No, he
You a
wasn't.
special
He was
agent?
wearing a beard.
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not.
I already told you I was a policeman.
Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
Maybe the package fell somewhere out of sight. See you later, kid.
Okay, Mr.
If you were watching the animatic, you would have seen where the gem fell.
It was a trap door in the sidewalk.
It was. Let's try and open it.
I tugged at the trap door, but it was locked from the inside.
Ah, yes, we've already seen that. Alright, well, let's go off and see the old man quickly and just get some dialogue from you.
It's me again.
So I see. What now?
Tell me
Did
about the
you
red
happen
sports
to see
core.
a red sports car down
Core,
the
a
road?
red sports core.
Caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket.
Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing
How do
car?
you know?
And what was it
You
doing
didn't see
here?
it.
The poor fella must have been lost.
That George Loward. Why don't you tell me about this length
Does
of
this
wire?
curiously twisted piece of wire mean anything to you?
Oh dear. Now what would you be wanting with a cruel snare like that?
Oh, it's not mine. It belongs to the old guy in the bar.
Ah yes, it would.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Poor Sean.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the
Oh
car?
dear.
Oh no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
You know, you never actually find Sean. So maybe he is dead. I don't know.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle, his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
Ah, yes, that would.
You don't
Sorry.
have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvellous. I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
Off you go.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
What kind of foolish idiot would try and
On
climb
the
something
back
like
of the
this?
cart was a crazily stacked tower of hay bales, leaning precariously against the castle wall.
Precisely this kind of stupid idiot.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
Really? I don't understand that reference, really. No, can't go up. Still can't go up. But what if...
There
Oh,
was
look.
a narrow crack between two of the stones where the centuries-old mortar had crumbled away.
Now, what if we use this tool not for purpose?
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step. The lifting key was rammed tightly into the crack in the wall, forming a strong foothold.
There we go. And over! Because we're amazing. And here we are at the impossible puzzle. Now, we want to go down there. Well, that didn't work. Let's try it again. No. Let's try again. No. Look, I think there's a help button down there. I remember how this is done. And, not to boast, but I did not require help when I did this the first time, originally. Not because it's not a difficult puzzle, because it is. But there are so few things to interact with in here. Process of elimination eventually got
It was a rusted piece of iron.
it.
Maybe
Yeah.
part of a plow or something.
Yeah. Let's go move this.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
Oh, they've made the puzzle simpler. That's boring. You used to have to move that, then go over here and get knocked down, and then rush over to that. Oh, how disappointing. Alright, well, let's see what we've got down here in the mysterious cellar. Well, I'm tempted to change it so it doesn't say that puzzle anymore. Yep, I'm updating my thing while we do that. Oh dear. Please don't have crashed, just be paused. No? There we go. Ah. Must not have liked it. Oh well, let's have a look around and see what we've got in here. Way back up. Ooh.
Behind the altar was a carved panel decorated with animals, birds, and plants.
What have we got over here?
The sack contained a fine white powder.
Drug smuggling.
I tried in vain to move the panel.
No. Well, what about this
There
over
was
here?
a pattern of 5 holes arranged on the wall. They'd been drilled there deliberately.
So, well, maybe they had been drilled. I don't know when drills were invented.
I placed
Must be
my
pretty early
fingers
on.
and thumb into the holes in the wall. Nothing happened.
I didn't lose my fingers. That's great to know. What about you? What are you? Oh, well, this is a new one.
It was a statue which had fallen from its place on the wall. 5 fingers of stone projected from the back of the carving.
Those are not 5 fingers of stone. They are 5 cubes that aren't really that good. See, look at the difference.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand. The statue lay face up in the soft sand.
Oh, pick it up again.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Yeah, there we go.
The 5 fingers on the back of the statue had left their impressions in the fine sand. I placed my fingers in the 5 impressions left by the fallen stone. It was weird. They fit perfectly.
Well, there we go. I guess you are the person of prophecy. The one whose hand can open this. Try again.
I placed my fingers and thumb into the holes.
Then I guess we'll have to be ingenious. How about we go over here and pick up these drugs?
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints.
I don't think I ever made animal paw prints, but I certainly remember Plaster of Paris. It was great. Oh, and I've lost my manhole tool right now.
It was a handful of plaster left in the castle by Peagram's archaeology team.
Alright. Well, I know what we have to do with it. It has to go in there. Oh, maybe because there is the new thing, I have to do this instead. Yeah, sprinkle that powder that I just carry around in my pockets all over there.
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled. I smoothed the plaster level with the sand. It was my first experience of home improvement.
I don't remember that before.
I smoothed...
Oh, I heard that. Let's just have a look.
The patch of sand where the statue had fallen was covered with a dense sprinkling of plaster.
Alright, now we need to go back. Let's go to the bar. Ah, poor goat. You have been neutered. Oh, can I not collect that? I'm sure I needed it later to go down into other mysterious sewers. Do I not? Or do I just pick it up on the way out? Hey! Let's see if you know anything. Oh, I'm never going to get any
Hey,
dialogue about the
What?
plaster of Paris now. That's it. Oh no, I've still got it.
do you know what this white powder is?
No.
Alright, well, that was
See you later,
informative.
kid.
Okay, mister.
He's not in here. Oh well, that's a shame.
Hello again.
What?
Tell me about this fine white powder
What
I'm
do you
carrying
make
around.
of this white powder?
Ah! Hay fever!
I'll see you later.
That doesn't make any sense.
Excuse me. Yes, sir?
Tell me about this white powder.
This?
I'm not interested.
Give me another beer, dude. Give everyone another beer. Let's party, guys.
I think you've had enough, don't you?
Hey, listen. Is it supposed to taste the way it does?
Gopherine stout is brewed from the finest chemicals in the world.
Well, I don't ever remember hearing that before.
I gotta be going.
They cut me off. Oh
Hey.
well.
Hello there again, mister.
Hey, do you want to snort some of this white
Do you
powder?
recognize this white powder?
No, I don't.
Bye for now.
Ah, there's a beer. Oh, that I cannot interact with. How about you? Do you want to look at this white powder? What if you offered you white powder? Would you not be listening then? No. Okay, fine.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there. What now?
Perhaps.
What do you make of this white powder?
Could it be bicarbonate of soda?
It could be, but it's
I
not.
have a suspicion that Fitzgerald might have been given something by Pegram.
I thought he acted strangely.
I'm talking about the gem. It was something he said.
Were you not speaking to him when he ran out of the bar?
Yeah, sure. Just talking, that's all.
It's not my fault he ran out and killed himself.
Goodbye for now.
Alright, well. Let's get this party started. Let's look down the hole and see if we see the gem down there.
I tugged at the trapdoor, but it was locked from the inside. It was a trapdoor in the sidewalk.
What's this mysterious thing here?
Smashed and broken away, revealing a switch.
Let's flick the switch.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
No, so now you can't turn it back on again.
It was impossible to return the switch to its original position.
Let's go inside and hear them talking. Oh! They're not talking.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
More beer over here.
I think you've had enough, don't you?
I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I can fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working.
It's not my dear, is it?
I'm convinced there's another scene.
Look, I gotta be going.
I'm sure that if you're out here, if you come out here, talk to Maguire, and they say, "Oh, everything's been smashed up and it's horrible and nothing is," and the person was kidnapped. If you go straight back in, if you flip this switch and then go straight back into the bar, they'll all be commiserating and going, "Oh no, what a horrible thing to have happened," and then it's all the beer's not working, rather than them commiserating over Sean.
Hey. Hello there again, mister.
You don't want to say anything?
Bye for
Alright.
now.
What about you?
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien.
Hello there.
You got nothing to
Goodbye
say
for
either.
now.
Alright then. Well, let me show you my credentials, good man. Actually, no. Let me talk to you first of all.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
More beer over here.
I think I'm sorry.
There we go. Alright, so now...
It just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Yeah, I have a thing.
Well, no. Isn't that marvelous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer. When you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
Maybe. Let's have a
It
look
was
at
an
these things.
electric glass washer. It looked even older than the barman.
Jesus. No, definitely not.
I couldn't see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Wow,
it was
what's
an
going on?
electrical plug attached to the glass washer.
Take it out. Let's have a look.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug.
Yes? Tell me.
I used all...
Oh. Let me do that again then.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug.
Oh, you're just gonna... What? Where are you going now? Oh, you're walking backwards and forwards because that's how
I
it
couldn't
did.
see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Alright, let's talk to
Excuse
the
me.
man.
Yes, sir?
No, nothing.
Look,
Alright,
I
fine.
gotta be going.
I thoroughly recommend that you watch a YouTube video by Tom Scott on the British electrical plug and why it is so goddamn safe. It is a miracle of engineering, or a marvel, I should say, because it is very simple, very easy fix, but it is so safe. Yeah, but let's make this one really, really unsafe.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
I guess so. I'm not making any promises.
Not a free half pint. I'm an electrician. I charge my
The pumps
standard
are in the
rates.
cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Down we go to the... can't really see anything. Ah! Rats!
It was the lever which locked the trap door.
Let's flip it.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
Well, up we go then. Let's open that door to let in some light.
I
Yay!
lifted the trap door, and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Oh, but I want to jump in there. Oh, it is a
Excuse
man.
me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
God!
See what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
Dun dun dun. What a nasty leprechaun he is. Alright, well let's go talk to Maguire and see if he's got anything to say. Because we can't jump down to our deaths in the cellar. That is a shame. That would solve all of the problems and end Broken Sword quickly.
Hey, McGuire.
What?
No, you got nothing? What if I show you this
Have
photograph?
you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
Your eyesight must be really bad
See you
then,
later, kid.
because he was
Okay,
just
mister.
over there. Alright, in we go. Down we go.
Now I could see. I spotted Mr. Leary's flashlight easily.
But I don't need it.
Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door.
What is it? Is it broken glass?
It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. I guess I
A
was already in the
sapphire
spell.
then. Oh.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you
Oh
was
my
looking
god,
for.
is that his face?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Listen, McGuire, I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way, you're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Yeah,
and
wow.
Sure, did you see that Ferrari?
I mean, that thing cutting off the face right at the top there. That box. That is not good. Alright.
It was a rusty faucet.
Let's turn it on.
The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water. I shut off the faucet as tight as I could, but it kept on dripping.
Yep.
It was a large blue gemstone. It was the barman's flashlight.
Well, let's go and see if anybody got anything to say about these, because I want to be as thorough as possible and not just do the adventure.
Excuse me. Yes, sir?
Hey, look at this.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Phew. What a beauty. I bet you wish that was real, don't you?
Yeah.
I found your flashlight.
So I see it. You'd better keep hold of that until you fix the pumps.
Thank
Look,
you.
I gotta be going. Hey! Hello there again, mister.
Look at this
Do you
gem.
recognize this gem? Saints be praised. It must be worth a fortune. What do you think of this flashlight?
Nobody's
Not
going to
very
come and bash
bright.
me over the head to get it,
I
of course.
could say the same about some of the present company. That's true.
Don't let him hear you. Keep it under your hat, mister.
That flashlight, like your brain dial, is not switched on.
Bye for now.
How about you tell me what you think about this
Mr.
photograph?
O'Brien.
Hello there. What now?
Yep, this photograph right here.
What do you think of this flashlight?
It's not a very practical piece of equipment, is it?
It's not switched on.
I'm referring to the lack of a bracket. How would you be fixing that to your bicycle?
I don't have a bicycle. What can you tell me about the gem which Pegram...
Are you one of the police?
Now there's a gem, which should never have been taken. A man would have to be full of greed to covet that stone. What's your interest in the jewel? You're not a reporter, are you?
No.
Oh no.
Thank the Lord for that.
Haven't we said this already?
Goodbye for now.
Hey you, I want to talk to you and show you this lovely yellow gem that when you sneeze will of course be green.
Hello again. What?
Oh,
If I was a woman, I wouldn't think much of a wire necklace.
It's not made for a woman. I've got my sights on tastier dishes than women. Flesh as smooth and tender as a maiden's. Bones as soft and white as a newborn babe's. Rabbit, that's what gets my juices flowing.
man cannot live by rabbit alone. Did you know that? You can't actually. It costs more energy to break down and digest the rabbit than it provides.
What does this gem mean to you?
Well, would you look at that? Pretty.
Do you recognize it?
No?
What do you think of this flashlight?
Very useful.
Indeed.
That could be very handy in the dark. How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale. It belongs to Leary. I'll see you later.
Alright, Maguire. Now you get to see the fruits of our labours. Look.
Hey, McGuire.
What?
Want a closer look at the gem, McGuire?
You'd better hide that, mister. What if the pixie comes back? You'll be in trouble then.
Yeah,
I
would
don't
be.
believe in pixies. Underneath that costume is a psychotic killer.
Smart.
Yeah, but you should also, you know. So if I do that.
No.
Sorry, I thought there was going to be
What do you think of my
a repeat.
flashlight?
It's a torch. That's what we call it on this side of the Atlantic.
Indeed. Alright,
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
now we're going to go back down the stairs and we're going to make use of this. I do not know if this is a timed puzzle or not. I cannot remember. But I'm going to assume it is, which is why...
Coughed and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
Alright, so now we use you on the water. We're going to leave it
I
running.
held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Let's have a look, shall we?
It was a rectangle of toweling. The towel was soaked through with water.
Okay, so now we're going to rush as fast as we can to the plaster of Paris. I don't know why you're a use icon rather than go in icon. Oh. Yes, of course. Please be filled with water. Ugh, that is indeed a rusty rubbish water. Alright.
I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
I could go and show everybody
The
this.
cast was a pretty neat replica of the back of the stone, complete with protruding fingers.
Who knows what kind of Easter egg you might get for that. But no, we're going to move on.
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Oh, now look where we can go. Break out that flashlight so we can go into the dark, dark recesses of this place. Yeah, look at that. More fackle. Good evening, back in Paris. Oh! We're in control of Nico. I thought we were just going to come back, but let's see. How did Plantar know we were doing that? He wants to meet. I can't believe it. Ronnie spiked the story. Arrived at Plantar, Clef been up, Plantar is the last victim of the costume killer. Will I be next? Met an American guy, George, was caught in the blast. He's keen to find out what happened. I gave him my phone number. I hope that wasn't a mistake. Last thing I need is someone pestering me. George called. He has found some clues. I invited him over this afternoon. Need to find out more for myself before he arrives. Should I go to the police? Can I trust them? Glad to have someone else investigating. Fleur, the flower seller, tells me that a girl who looked like me broke into my apartment. She must have planted a bug, which is how Plantard knew about the spiked story. Maybe Plantard was scared and wanted to talk to me. Tell me what was really going on. Casson's organization have kept me under surveillance. He must have chosen not to kill me yet. How about the costume killer? There's some kind of war going on. I don't know how or why I am involved. The police missed evidence at the cafe. I'm not surprised. Found a pouch with another coded letter and a strange metal object with a familiar symbol. Decrypted the message. It was written to Plantard by Imelda. Probably where we're going next to confront her. She was clearly part of the organization and lied to me. Her front was a complete sham. She warns Plantard that the murderer will come after them. Plantard must have really wanted to tell me or show me something. Oh no! Found part of a photograph which links my father directly with Castle. Carchon's organization, a fascist involved in war atrocities. Can it really be true? Papa is the link to the whole business. Was he the real reason why Castle asked to meet me? I hope George does come over, but this part of the story must remain in my own terrible secret. Ooh! I just saw that and I went, oh, I'll have a look at that. And blow me, it's actually a thing. Oh, there's a flashing light. Do I have messages as well?
My first Teddy.
Oh, yes.
Never had a boyfriend as loyal as him. Undisturbed. No bugs there.
Oh, am I looking for bugs, am I? Oh.
The phone was the obvious place to look for a bug, but this handset hadn't been opened for years. Besides, they would have just bugged the line.
Yeah, true. Underneath the table.
No bug. Just a 20-year-old piece of gum.
You only moved in a few months ago. Have you been carrying that table with you for 20 years? Alright. Alright, photo.
It was a photograph of my father. The first one I ever took. With the first camera he ever bought me. They
My
hadn't placed the
fingers
bug
are
in
on
the
there.
photo.
Alright, okay. What about? Let's listen to this message then.
I had messages waiting to be played.
Yeah, you did.
I had messages waiting to be played.
I pressed play.
You have 3 messages.
Hey, Collard, it's me, your favorite editor.
The one who
Guess
fired
what?
you.
I'm gonna give you a second chance. I need somebody to write the TV column. Pays lousy, so what's new? If you're interested, drop by the office. In fact, drop by the office anyway. We have to talk, Nico. That story of yours I spiked. It won't go away. You've made some dangerous enemies out there.
Dun dun dun.
It's your old pal. I mean, your new pal, George. Whoa, Ireland. It's a whole different country. And I got some amazing news for you. Gem of a story, in fact. Oh, gotta go. Yeah, fella here's got a drink lined up for me. See you tomorrow, Nico. Slonsha. Yep, only here for a day and I'm speaking the lingo like a local.
Mademoiselle Coulard, this is Imelda Carchon. I wanted to thank you for being so understanding when... Come to lunch, why don't you? Tomorrow. I might have more news. There's a Monsieur Merlon coming to see me this evening.
Oh my
He says he knows
god.
why Pierre was murdered. In fact, he'll be here shortly. I shall let you know what he says. Goodbye, dear girl. Till tomorrow.
Merlin? Oh my god. Merlin's the killer. I'd better get over there and warn her now. When it came to being two-faced, Imelda was up there with the best. I owed her nothing. But I couldn't just let her die.
No! I wanted to investigate the rest of the apartment.
I arrived to find the Palais Royal courtyard deserted. I only hoped that I'd beaten the assassin here. I had to warn Imelda before it was too late.
Oh.
Just your average modern art retaining wire.
What about this?
Just your average modern art retaining wire.
Well, I assume we're going to knock that over so that we can... So that we can climb
I
that.
could get up to the window.
I mean, you can. What are you carrying now as well? Oh, so many things. Alright. Well, let's go over here.
Carchon's front door. There was a fresh scratch on the paint. The kind that's left when someone's picked the lock. If I was right, Imelda was getting a lesson from a mime artist. And it wasn't the old moving staircase routine.
Now unsurprising.
Locked? No way was I going to break through a door like that. A doorbell. The intercom system wasn't working. Bad sign. Somebody had cut the wire.
Alright, need to do something with those. Need to cut it somehow. Are you sharp enough to cut things? After you've been squashed flat like that? Ah, apparently so. Oh, or are we just turning the...
I unhooked the first wire.
Well, let's do it again. What do you mean? Do it again. Oh, I can just unhook it, can I? Oh, fine. Alright.
I released the second wire. Even with both wires removed, the statue remained upright.
Well, push it.
If I could deconstruct this, I could deconstruct anything.
I mean, wasn't that what you were trained for in art college? Deconstructing art? Ooh.
The window had been repaired with industrial plastic sheeting.
When was it broken?
The plastic sheet was thick and strong. I'd need more than my hands to tear it.
Alright. What about this thing? Yeah, okay. I guess you can probably use just about anything to do that. Just the door. Alright. Sir John Miles, my editor, very wide, called from Ireland drunk, and finally a Melda Caron. She called the man Merlin was just for dinner tonight. The Khan, the costume killer, she's in terrible danger. I have to go warn her. Broken into Carson's apartment. I'd make a great cat burglar. that is a nice callback. Or call forwards? No, what do you call that? You call it oh my god, you're laying the scene. Alright, let's go in here and find her dead.
My god,
No.
I'm too late.
God damn, are you huge at the front here?
Nico? Don't worry, you're going to be alright.
Oh,
You know
no.
that isn't true.
There's no
It was
blood
Merlin,
being
wasn't
shown.
he? Dressed as a cavalier. Absurd.
A
You came to warn me,
cavalier?
didn't you? I must be crazy. Let me see you, Nico. All this time you were just using me. Which one is the real Imelda? You are an extraordinary girl. Thierry would have been so proud of you. You didn't know my father. So like him. Something about the eyes. I wish we'd had time to get to know each other. She was gone. She cheated me. Lied to me.
She hadn't cheated you.
But why?
Why has she cheated you? Police won't investigate, they'll just cover up the other killings. So now it's a matter to die. Another murder by the costume killer. Merlin or Khan. This time dressed as a cavalier. Alright, well, let's investigate you and see what you've got.
Even in death, Imelda looked the same. Beautiful, inscrutable. The Ice Queen alone in her ice palace.
Oh god, please don't reveal that this is her mother, changed and
Around
looking.
her neck was a locket.
That would suck.
I opened it. Inside was a tiny gold key.
Alright, well, we'll have that.
I took the key. I had to leave. I knew I could never return.
Alright, so now we're back here. Oh, does it open your trunk? Wow, what is going on with that? Alright, well, let's finish looking for things. Is there a bug here? Oh, did you bug the trunk?
You have no...
I don't care about messages. What I'm looking for. Alright, well, we'll leave that.
No, I'm not giving up.
Oh, you can open it without anything, okay.
In the dim light, I caught the reflection of something metallic. A small, sinister-looking metal disc, had been tucked under my father's box. It
The
was a bug.
bug.
Oh, chère cousine. You left me a little present. You shouldn't have.
Did you destroy it? That is a huge whatever it is. No, you're flushing it.
Don't scare me. Especially.
No. Just down a chute. Well, I mean, it's going to open the box, isn't it?
The box was one of the few things my father left me. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Cochon's.
Did we take the elephant? I forget, I think we did.
The box was carved by my father. It never had a key.
Oh, well, I wonder what this
It was the
mysterious
key,
key is going to do.
locket.
Well, will it work
The
here?
box was one of the few things
Oh.
The elephant on the lid was a...
Okay, so I did that wrong, so I just want to go up. There we go.
I took out the key.
Come on. It fixed, it worked. Oh my
I
god.
couldn't believe it. Imelda's key opened my father's box. I dreaded what I was going to find inside.
Oh my god. She was in the middle of the photo. I never saw that they were put together. Alright.
It was a photograph of Imelda. But why here? In my father's box.
She's smiling.
I felt as if a black hole had swallowed me up. Imelda and Canchon grinning. While behind them a village was being razed to the ground. Its people butchered. And there, next to them, staring out at me across the years, my own father. There was a letter. I feared there was even worse to come.
No, okay. Without any... Okay, let's read the letter.
Hotel St. Georges, Algiers, Friday. My darling Thierry, by the time you read this, you'll be safely out of Africa. You need not fear. Pierre and the organization do not know who you are really working for, or about us. Did you think I would betray you? I could not. You wanted me to leave him, but I don't have your courage. I know too much of what has been going on here. They would find me and they would kill us both. Enjoy your life in Paris, Thierry. Your life of honor, of patriotic duty. Do they give medals to spies? No, they'll just give you a funny job in an embassy somewhere. I could never share that with you. Imagine me, a diplomat's wife. So I must stay here with Pierre, the two of us bound together by what we have done to this country. Au revoir, my love. You will be in my heart until I die. Imelda. Suddenly everything made sense. My father had been working undercover for the government. He was one of the good guys after all.
Everything doesn't make sense, but it is a nice
He and Imelda
cap
must
to
have
the
fallen
story.
in love. She'd found out who he really was, so he had to leave. It had
Why?
broken her heart, but she had never revealed it to anyone. I knew I couldn't either. Whatever he was doing, he'd had good reason to keep it secret. I decided I would respect that and tell nobody.
I'd quite like this to come back up in a later game now that they've introduced this, because it is just a loose end now. The next morning. Come on, drunk! Have you just been sitting there all day?
For a moment I was tempted to pretend that I was out, or ask him to go away and come back later. But then... Come in.
Hello, Georges.
Wow.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room
There's a
with another
2-hour
guy.
time difference.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pigran has disappeared?
I wonder if
Without a
that
trace.
doesn't happen if you leave
But
it off. I can't
my
remember.
visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pigram's gem?
The Templars gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the
Ah.
gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Ah, how would you like to look at my plaster of
Look at
Paris?
that. A handful of plaster.
Yeah. Why is it that men never really grow up?
What's your problem, sister?
Your pockets stuffed with useless junk like little boys.
You never know when useless junk might come in handy.
Really? But we've got the tool back. Look at the tool.
No way.
Really? Alright, well, what about the
Do
gem?
you want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
Honest? Alright, well, let's have a look at
take
this.
another look at the manuscript.
Alright, that's...
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Oh, and I can't leave this until I've looked at three things, can I? Okay, what's here?
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight's scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
Ooh. Alright, what about over here?
There's a guy working on a loom.
Can I leave now? No, okay, so I have to look at four
There's
things
a
then?
woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces.
Look there. Two guys on the same horse. What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by...
Alright, well...
I can't sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobineau at the Crown Museum.
I was going to say, that is our next port of call.
See if Rosso has heard anything.
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself.
No pictures for that. Interesting. Wonder why they programmed some but not others. I'm going to guess it was because they just didn't spot it.
I so much wanted to talk to George about everything that had happened, but I knew I never could. My father's connection to Africa would have to remain a secret forever. His bravery would be known only to the government and to me. Revealing it would just damage his memory. People would take the story and twist it. Before long, he would be the villain and Carchon would be the hero. I know how they do that. I'm a journalist.
Wow, I mean... Jesus. That is horrible. I mean, there's a crappy portrayal of the media there. Guess that. Oh, there's no more than a Billy Goat, Paris, Montfaucon. I need to find out Montfaucon. So what have we got? The museum, the police. Let's go to the police first of all and see what we've got. Oh,
It was Rosso's sidekick.
Sergeant Moo. Oh, Rosso's not here, but let's talk to Moo. See if Moo can spread any light on anything.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
Would you like to know about this gem?
Maybe not.
What about this plaster of Paris?
No way.
What about this?
Did I show you this photograph, Sergeant?
Yes, monsieur.
Oh well. How about those?
Like
Did
to
you get
report
them?
assault.
Yes, monsieur.
I'm the...
I see.
Outside the hook. They stopped.
Could you describe...
One looked like their names...
Bon.
I could have sworn I told you that all already. I wanted to know if you'd caught them.
Have you heard of a man called Marquet?
Yes. He used to be known as the Mole of Montmartre. I heard he's been hospitalized, probably by one of his rivals.
Oh.
Which hospital was Marquet taken to?
The Hagenmeyer Clinic. In the Avenue des Hérissons.
Why was Marquet known as the Mole of Montmartre?
Because he lived in Montmartre, I suppose.
Yeah, but why the mole?
I don't know. Maybe he ruined people's lawns.
You are
See you later, Sergeant.
not very useful. Did he tell on people? Was he a mole in that sense? Ah, now we have the hospital. But let's go over here and find Lavenor. No, he's not here. Oh. Alright.
Pardon me. Oui, monsieur?
Is Lavenor around?
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John D. at all.
Most...
Wow.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
Yeah.
No, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Wow. George Stobart, American Dream. Or the American Dream, rather. I'm not saying George Stobart is the American Dream. Or an American Dream. But come on. The American Dream is all about making everything for yourself.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod...
We already know it didn't.
What's the important... Do you... Don't you... What kind of yeah. Can I take a...
What? That tripod?
How...
Yeah.
How is...
Yeah, we all know that.
Do you
Let's
know
ask you
anything
about this.
medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar. Though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me... They ask...
Whereas...
No, okay, we've heard all of this. But there's nothing to talk about, Monsieur
I
Lebanon.
found this gem at a medieval site in Ireland.
That means nothing to me, monsieur.
How did you manage to get this job?
I had the right qualifications.
I was at the right place at the right place.
Squeaky shoes and an irrational hatred of children.
Ah, well, there we go.
Does this white powder mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Thanks for your help.
Alright. Well, let's go to the hospital then. I mean... Ah. Why is
there
that?
Was no sign of the crew of the ambulance. I felt a little guilty as I tried the door, like I was about to rob a grave. I gripped the handle with an involuntary tremble in my hand and pulled. The door was locked.
I mean, I wasn't going to rob it. Well, I mean, I'm a video game protagonist, so, I mean, largely I was going to, but not through any... Ah!
The guy seemed to be practicing his air of authority. Today, he was working on his withering stare.
Oh! I'm going to get to Mr. Shiny.
My name's George Stobart. Really? If you wish to make an appointment, see the receptionist.
I'm looking for a guy named Jacques Marquet.
In which department does he work?
He doesn't. He's a patient.
I see. You do realize there are strict policies regarding visiting hours, don't you?
No, I don't know that. First time in Paris.
This is important.
Well, I guess second, since I left to come back.
We make no exceptions to the rules.
It's a matter of life and death.
So are most things in hospital.
Hospital is a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
That's why we have rules.
Well, tell me again.
I have to warn you that Marquet is not what he seems.
Explain yourself.
He's in league with a bunch of guys who want to take over the world.
Really?
Nonsense.
We haven't found that out.
Marquet's employers have paid in advance for one of our most exclusive private rooms.
Who's his
Could
employers?
you tell me who Marquet's employers are?
Yeah.
Certainly not.
Oh, alright. How about you tell me about this plaster of Paris?
Does this white powder mean anything to you?
No, sir. I do not pretend to know the pharmacist's job.
Oh well. What about this exciting tool?
Does this tool mean anything to you?
Sacre bleu! That's exactly what I needed in my last operation.
It is?
I had to improvise with a knitting needle and a couple of corks. If only you'd been on hand at the time. My patient would have given his right arm for it.
How about this photograph?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, sir, I do not.
How about this photograph?
Look at this, Doc. It's a genuine medieval type gemstone.
Yes, so I see. Remarkable.
I have to take this gem to Marquet. He might be able to explain its significance.
My dear chap, Marquet has other things on his mind right now.
Like what?
His catheter, for one.
If he has that on his mind, you are not a good doctor. Alright, how about this photograph?
What do you make of this tissue, sir?
If I were you, I'd have the sample analyzed.
Alright, shake my hand
May
then.
I have the honor of shaking you by the hand?
You may not. I don't encourage physical contact between my staff.
Oh, what about
Do you
if I show him with my
recognize
nose?
this red nose, sir?
No, I do not. This is a hospital, not a circus ring. We minister to the sick in body, not the sick in mind.
What about
Does
this
the name
instead then?
Thomas Merlin mean anything to you?
No, it does not.
I'm surprised I've still got that card.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamat?
No, sir, I have not.
Thanks
Alright.
for your help.
Oh, let's talk to the
woman
receptionist.
managed to look overworked and hassled, though she didn't appear to be doing anything.
She's typing on the computer. But that's a very useful
Excuse
skill to
me?
be able to look overworked and hassled anyway.
Yes, sir?
Is this the Hagenmeyer Clinic?
That's correct.
I thought I was in a garden center.
Oh, the plans. They were my idea. A little greenery to evoke the spirit of nature. How may I help you?
Tell me about Merlin.
I'm here to see Jacques Marquet.
Oh, right, yes, wrong name.
Are you related to our client,
Told you I was
sir?
bad at names. Nah.
No, I'm conducting a private investigation.
Then I can't help you.
Oh. Tell me
So,
again.
do I get to see Marquet before the funeral?
That attitude will get you nowhere. My instructions were quite clear. No one gets to see Marquet. So unless you can prove you're a relative or a close acquaintance, you're wasting your time here.
What about
Has Marquet had a
Queen
visit
of
from a pair
Flip.
of gangsters?
I should hope not. Can you describe them?
Weasel?
A thin guy who looks like a weasel and his friend
Gorilla
a
was the
gorilla.
other one. Yes, I knew it was
They
another
escaped
animal.
from a zoo.
What about a clown? Do you
Has
have
Marquet
clowns?
been visited by a man in a clown costume?
Or a leprechaun?
You haven't seen a man in disguise?
Well, there's Theodore the Bear. He comes every Thursday to entertain the children. Personally, I think he scares them half to death in that crummy old bear suit. If I was stuck on my back with tubes in every orifice, he's the last person I'd want to see.
Pretty sure death is the last person you'd want to see. Well, tell me about this tool.
What does this tool suggest to you?
Is it a crack detector?
Huh?
Polar explorers use them to poke about in the snow.
Oh no.
That's a very good idea, though. But how about this photograph?
Have you seen this man here at the clinic?
No, sir. And I never forget a face.
How about
Look
this
at this ID
photograph?
pass.
So you're Merlin. Marquet's been asking for you.
Oh!
For me?
Yes. He was shouting your name when they brought him in here. Now, let me see. He was on Ward B12, as I recall. Oh, he's being transferred to... Oh, dear. He's on Ward J2. That's... Nurse Grendel's ward.
Oh my god, not Nurse Grendel. Alright, I need to take a very quick break to sort something out. Hopefully, it will not be long. Alright, and we are back. So, what should we ask her about now? Because we have admittance to her now. Let's finish going over the items. So, white powders.
Is this plaster any use to you?
I'm allergic to plaster.
Really? I mean, also, your picture does not match your animation. You've got a ponytail in the animation, but up here, there's nothing. How weird. What about the club? You want to come out to a club?
Have you heard of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds romantic, doesn't it?
I mean, hey, how about you shake my hand?
I'd like to shake you by the hand.
Don't be fresh, young man.
What about my nose?
What does this false nose remind you of?
Oh, it's a clown's nose.
That's smart. What about this photograph?
Can you think of any use for this greasy tissue?
I guess you could use it to baste a roast turkey.
What about this photograph?
What does this gem suggest to you?
I advise you not to flash that around.
Yeah? Smart. Tell me about the nurse.
What's so bad about Nurse Grendel?
She runs that ward like a South American prison.
Keeping a well-disciplined ward isn't a crime, is it?
Well disciplined. In the discipline and punishment stakes, she'd whip the butt off the Marquis de Sade. Everything. I mean,
the Marquis de Sade would enjoy that.
Routine. 6 o'clock, alarm call. 6:10, bowel movements, and woe betide anyone who doesn't have a result. Those patients of hers are like Pavlova's dogs.
She sounds like a real nightmare.
Pavlova's? I thought it was Pavlov. Alright, well tell me more about her.
If Nurse Grendel is that bad, how come the authorities tolerate her?
She's like part of the furniture.
I was beginning to get the picture. This woman was jealous. With a big green capital J.
Really? Doesn't seem so.
How do I find Nurse Grendel's ward?
Down the corridor on the left. Turn right at the senior consultant's washroom. Right again at the executive coffee lounge. Bear left past the administrator's sauna. And turn left at the end. That's J2. And good luck.
I have no idea.
Thanks for your help, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Alright. Well, let's talk to you quickly, Doc, and ask you about Nurse Grendel.
Excuse me, sir.
Nope, you don't want to talk about Nurse Grendel.
Thanks for your
Alright.
help.
I'm just psychic that way. Let's go down here. Let's go down A.
As I turned the corner,
Yeah!
I saw the source of the hellish noise which echoed through the corridors.
It's Mr.
It was an
Shiny.
industrial polishing machine with an odd-looking guy in tow.
We got the plug over here, which we can pull out. Which I hope I didn't just do, I just looked at it.
The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
Yep. For some reason I don't want to pull it out right now, which is odd. Okay.
He looked blissfully happy, for no apparent reason.
Wow.
The door didn't have a sign or label or any kind of identification.
Oh, let's go in there then.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Oh no. That doesn't tell you why I'm not allowed to go in there.
Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
Why?
It's a deal.
Hey, have you seen any gangsters?
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the corridors?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would. With a friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
Tell me about him.
Would Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
Tell me about
How
Mr.
come
Shiny.
you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I asked you not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you? I don't mind. The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind my back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull-through.
Snorking? I have no idea what snorking is.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
If you know what snorking is, please tell me.
I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
Oh, that's a shame. Alright, hey, look at this exciting tool. You've got Mr. Shiny. I've got this manhole opening
Would
tool.
this tool be any use to you?
No, sir. Mr. Shiny has no user-serviceable parts. Whatever that means.
How about this photograph?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Who is it?
That's what I'm asking you. Have you seen him before?
How should I know? You haven't told me who he is.
Oh, do you have face blindness?
Yeah, okay.
Now, have you seen him before?
No.
How about this photograph?
Do you recognize this powder?
Is that dandruff?
No way.
It sure looks like dandruff.
It's plaster.
Ugh.
You didn't at dandruff, but you did at plaster. Alright, how about this photograph?
Do you recognize this matchbook?
You should never ever play with matches.
Indeed.
I know that, but...
That is good advice.
People get hurt when they do. They end up in hospital, like the burger lady. She was so burned up, they didn't know whether to use bandages or onions.
Bandages? You don't use onions. Well, I mean, you can use onions on a burger, but I really dislike that. To the point where I'm allergic.
No,
well, not
I
allergic,
don't. Should I?
No, but I wondered if you'd seen a stranger flashing it about.
No, sir. But if I had, Mr. Shiny would take care of him.
What
What
about
do you
this?
think of this, Sam?
Oh, boy. What is it?
It's shiny.
Priceless gemstone, found in a medieval castle in Ireland. Get me into Marquet's ward, and it's yours.
I don't wear jewellery.
If this gem was yours, you'd be able to buy 100 Mr. Shinies.
Don't
Wow.
be silly. There's only one Mr. Shiny.
Yeah. There's lots of Mr. Shiny's brothers and sisters out there, though.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not until I've washed, if you don't mind, sir.
Smart guy.
Take a look at this red nose.
Are you a policeman?
No, this is a clown's nose, not a policeman.
I had forgotten about that stupidity.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
You have a cold. What you need is vitamin C.
Cool. Alright.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Alright. Well, we're going to go this way. Well, this gets to... It did get us to the ward. This is awesome.
Oui, monsieur.
Is this ward J2?
It is, but you're not supposed to be here. We have strict rules about visiting hours.
Can't you make an exception? I've come all the way from California.
You must speak to the doctor.
I can't wait that long. What if he snuffs it?
You can't talk like that here. This is a hospital.
Plenty
You
of
have to
people
leave.
snuff it in a hospital. Alright. Time for me to become a doctor. I'll just put myself through years of medical school.
Machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
Mr. Shiny, what's wrong, pal?
We're not going to put you in... Come on, stop. Let me move. Ugh. Stop. Here we go. Time to become a doctor. I will put my white cloak on top of my jacket. Nobody will notice that this looks ridiculous. And we don't need to disrupt Mr. Shiny anymore, which is great. Hey, I'm a doctor now. Oh my god!
No whistling, right?
Right.
You have a coat on in the pictures. That's great.
What's the problem with Nurse Grendel?
She's uptight and twisted on account of a broken heart.
Oh, that's
no.
too bad. I thought she was just plain bad-tempered.
That also. By the way, sir, I wouldn't stand too close to Mr. Shiny's grease valve. If he has an emission, it'll take the shine clean off your shoes. Say, nice sneakers.
Thanks.
They're for sneaking.
Are you having trouble with Mr. Shiny?
Yes, I am. I don't know what's got into him today. He keeps pulling his plug.
He's done it once.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
Alright, off we go here. I am now a doctor, as you can tell by my
Good
coat.
afternoon, Doctor. The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
You'll need this, Doctor.
Yes, a
She
stethoscope.
gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Well, first of all... Tell me about these things. Tell me about this exciting medical tool.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I don't recognize it.
Really?
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I don't recognize it.
Oh, but you don't disappear. Alright, what have I told you? What about this photograph?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
What about this photograph?
What is this device?
It's for taking the patient's blood pressure, Doctor.
What about this photograph?
Does this gem mean anything to you?
It's beautiful, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I've just come from the proctology lab. We, removed it from places.
Is this plaster any use to you?
No, it isn't.
Does this mean anything to you?
The Club Alamut? I've never heard of it.
Do you recognize this red nose?
Oh dear. I don't think he'll be needing that again.
Who?
Monsieur Boissy, the comatose clown.
Alright.
Do you know Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No, I don't.
So many things you don't know.
Recognize this tissue?
No, I don't. It looks like a chronic health risk to me.
Well, I've been carrying it around for days and I'm okay.
Shake me by the hand.
Shake hands with me?
Well...
No, it's okay. Forget it.
Tell me about this
Do you have
clown.
any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
No, he's in a coma.
Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
We already knew that, because you had told us that previously. Alright.
What's wrong with Boissy?
But I'm
He's
stupid and
involved
can't
in a
listen.
very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good.
Well, tell
Do
me
you have
about
a patient named Marquet
Marquet.
on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward.
All right.
He has been placed in strict isolation.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Depends if it's a private room.
Thank you, nurse.
A private hospital or publicly. Let's go over here and just try and get in. Oh my god, not you.
What is it? You haven't taken my blood pressure.
Hey, look at that. I know how to use this machine now, I think. I didn't, because I didn't wrap it around your arm. There we go.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Sounds good. Let's walk away from here.
Oh, Doctor.
What now?
You didn't.
No, I didn't finish taking your blood pressure. Why are you waving?
Okay, let's try again.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
No, of course
I'll come
not.
back when you've recovered your manners.
Alright.
This guy didn't look sick to me. He didn't have spots or stitches, and he certainly didn't have a fever.
You're not someone you can talk to. Alright, well.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Hi! Are you dead inside?
No cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it.
I went through years of medical school. Look, I'm even carrying a medical
Do you know
tool.
what this tool is used for?
I'd rather not, Doctor.
Alright, now we're going to test your memory. How about this photograph? Do you recognize him?
the man in this photograph?
No, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
Alright then. Do you recognize this photograph?
Have you any idea what this is?
No, Doctor. I wouldn't even like to guess.
You're right. It's not a photograph. Ah, nothing wrong with your eyes. But what about this
Have you ever heard
photograph?
of the Club Alimut?
I'm not really a nightclub man, Doctor.
No? Okay. Eyes, both, all three of them, working fine. 3 tests, 3 eyes.
Do you know what this is?
It looks like plaster.
Could I? Or did you lick
Do you
it
recognize
to taste?
this
I don't
red
know.
nose?
Doesn't that belong to Boissy?
No. I found it in a sewer.
He's a clown,
Do you want it?
know. You wouldn't think so to look at him now, would you?
Do you not want to listen to the answers?
Have you heard of a guy called Merlin?
No, Doctor.
Dr. Merlin? Would you like to look at this gem?
Does this gem mean anything to you?
No, Doctor.
What if instead of this gem I shook you by the hand?
That is not a good idea.
Look, I know he's...
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job.
What do you mean, why? You wanted me to do it. I believe, but I am no medical professional, that you wrap the cuff around it and then pump the thing
Doing it right.
so that it closes around your arm, but not too tightly. But it can feel the pumping of your heart that
What
way.
can you tell me about
if it's closed
Marquet?
enough.
He's the man in the private room, isn't he?
Yes.
That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Perhaps you shouldn't have squatted. Tell us more.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, Doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
Haven't I already told you? Too long in bed. So, what do you think of
What's
this
your
nurse
impression of
who's
Nurse
running the ward?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
Yeah, that's not great.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
I mean, you don't have to. It helps.
I'll come back later.
Alright. Well, before we go anywhere...
The nurse was stunningly beautiful. The guys on this ward sure were lucky to be in her care.
Yes, because physical appearance equates to...
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Medical knowledge. Alright, no, we've done all
Thank
those.
you, nurse.
So,
Au revoir, monsieur.
off we go. We're going back. Yes, here we are. You are going to help me out, but before that...
The woman managed to look overworked and hassled, though she didn't appear to be doing anything.
We're going to talk to you. Let's see if you've got anything new to say now that I am a doctor.
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Yes, sir?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Alright, what about you? Who are you? Stop moving around so that I can look at
The
you.
young man's face was full of eagerness and enthusiasm. I figured he was fresh from college. The
What
guy
about you?
seemed to be practicing his air of...
Yeah, we know that. Let's talk to you. I'm a doctor too. Look at me.
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful.
Wow.
Benny, come here, boy.
Bunny?
This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
No.
Do your own babysitting, Gramps. Who do you think you are, anyhow?
I am Felix Hagenmeyer.
Good. I was looking for Hagen.
May I say what an honor it is to meet you in person, sir. You are on my medical wall of fame. Right up there with Pasteur and Leary. I look on it as a privilege, no, an honor, to look after your nephew, sir.
Wow.
Is
You're
fresh
good
out of
at
medical
sucking up.
It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Alright, I still want to talk to you again.
Excuse me, sir.
Look
what
got an
Nurse
exciting.
Brendel gave me, sir.
Ah, yes, very good. I'm glad to see you are carrying it with you.
Alright, there we go.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, let's talk to you.
Hi,
See what you.
my name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir?
Yes, let's shout across the hall.
So
to
what's your
one
name,
another.
kid?
Benoit, they call me Bunny.
Bunny? Jeez, and you don't mind?
Oh, I've gotten used to it.
Okay, Benoit, you're gonna help me.
Anything you say, sir.
Alright, so what we're going to do right now
I'm right behind you, sir.
is an experiment. Where I walk over here, and now we're going to talk and see. What? No, I did not press that. Oh. Where are you, Bunny? There you are. See, the experiment we're going to do is you are over there. No? Okay. Don't like that. So let's try talking here then.
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
So this experiment was no good. What I wanted to do is to see whether the portraits switch sides. But instead, let's talk about this. How about my exciting medical tool? What would you use it for?
Suggest to you?
Isn't that used to snap the patient's ribs? When exploring the abdomen?
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, how about this photograph?
You recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. I've never seen him before.
Alright. How about this photograph?
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Not me, sir.
No? Okay. Well, when you become a doctor, this is how they pay you. They pay you in gems. If they try to pay you in anything else, reject it and say, I am a doctor, sir. I do not accept money.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Alright, how about this photograph?
What does this tissue mean to you?
Is that a nasal discharge, sir?
No, it's grease paint.
How about
Have
this
you ever heard of
photograph?
Club Alamet?
No, sir.
Alright, well I think that's all of the photographs. How about this? Plaster of Paris. We're in Paris.
No, sir.
Plaster of Paris, in Paris, but not made by Paris.
Shake my hand, Benoit.
Or even in
That's a
Paris.
good idea, sir.
How come?
Dermatitis.
I don't have dermatitis.
I do.
Ooh, and you're gonna be over it. Yeah. Alright,
Have you ever heard of a
I'm
guy
Dr.
named
Hans
Leary?
Gruber.
No, sir.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something.
I know what you're gonna do. First of all, you're gonna tell me. Let's talk
You know
about the
nurse
people on here.
Ward J2?
No, miss. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean to get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
Not shut up, Benoit. That was a little socially awkward, but not worthy of a shut up, Benoit.
Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
And no, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Alright.
Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
Onwards! And there's Benoit.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Have you got anything to say about Benoit? No. Okay, there we go.
Thank you, nurse.
Au
All
revoir,
right.
monsieur.
Onwards. 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 I'm clicking the onwards button.
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
That is why no. I don't have the blood pressure.
Quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
No, it's because he's
I'll
about
come
to die.
back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Alright. You.
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
I want you to blood pressure.
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Oh.
Use it on Nurse Grendel.
Huh?
Go on, she'll enjoy it.
Well, okay.
Dr. Stobart?
Yeah?
I would appreciate it if you saved your jokes for the intern's restroom. This is a hospital ward, not a cabaret.
Oh, lighten up.
I heard that. Any more nonsense and I shall report you to Dr. Hagenmeyer.
No, that would be disappointing. Alright,
Use
we'll
it
do it
on
on...
Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
You go find Eric Zotmarsh. Quickly! Run! 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 I don't know who that guy at the back is. Oh no, now there's a guard. Well, I'm a doctor.
He sat like a statue of a sack of potatoes, but the cop's eyes were as watchful as a hawk's.
Or potatoes.
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour,
Holy
doctor.
crap, your eyes look dead inside. Alright. Hey, I'm going to use this tool on you.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Branding mice without bending down.
Interesting. Okay. How about this photograph?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
Alright. How about this photograph?
Do you recognize this gem?
It isn't an emerald, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was blue. How about this
Have you ever heard
photograph?
of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds Middle Eastern.
Alright.
Can you
What about
think
this
of any
plaster?
sensible
Plaster.
use for this plaster?
Sensible? No. Puerile? Yes. But you've probably thought of those already.
I haven't, as it happens. What could I do with it?
What does this tissue suggest to you?
It looks as if it has been used to wipe Satan's bottom.
I hate to say it, but you could be right. Do you recognize this red nose?
Don't get cute with me.
Why? I'm not
Are you
being
Thomas
cute.
Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No.
Then you won't be needing this.
Shake
Would
my
you
hand.
like to shake hands?
What for?
As a gesture of goodwill.
On reflection? No.
How about
Have you
Guido?
seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No. This was a tatty old bear.
How was the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Does Khan and Merlin, are they dressed as a bear? I can't remember.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, Doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
No, he doesn't.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
How very doctory.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, Doc.
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lachmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
thought you were one of the Hashashin.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
Oh, Flap, not Flip.
Know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the... That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeier was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
No, you hadn't.
And there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter. The door's locked. Help me, officer.
And Bunny.
Stand back, monsieur.
That doesn't help. I mean, it's cinematic as hell, but shooting a lock does not help. Also, why did the doctor kill him? Was he one of the Hashashians?
Hello, George.
Let me tell you about this exciting souvenir. No? Shake me by the hand?
Not.
How about this? No, this?
Yes, you did.
Oh, well, what about Gruber? Nope, nothing
Did
to
I
that.
show you this matchbook?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Do you want this photograph back?
I quite like showing it to everybody.
No, you
I'd
keep
rather
it.
you didn't.
I can always make another print.
Well, there we go then. Okay, let's talk about
I
Marquet.
found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor
I was
and
going to
take
say,
advantage of a dying
yeah.
man?
Let me tell you all about my adventures,
I don't
where
know
I
who
was
he
a bogus
but
doctor.
It certainly wasn't Khan. He got away out the window.
Ooh, well. Stabby, stabby doctor.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil.
Oh,
He had
wasn't.
wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves.
Alright, well, I guess
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rosso or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
I haven't met Andre yet, though. Maybe I was meant to be able to earlier? But something is going wrong here? Ah, there he is. There's no reason to call him a weirdo yet.
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that.
I beg your pardon.
And then she died, or what happened?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay, shoot.
Please, tell me all about this sewer tool that you...
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Really? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
You are very clever there. Alright, how about this photograph?
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
How about this photograph?
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
How about this photograph?
No way.
Alright.
What
Hans
do you make of
Gruber?
this ID card?
Nothing.
You're not very knowledgeable at all. Want to
Does
come
this
with me to a
matchbook
club?
mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Ooh.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
Subtle dig at the American there.
Do you
when it
recognize
doesn't
this
need
white
to be
powder,
yet.
Andre?
No.
Take a look at this nose, Labino.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
What about this
do you
diamond?
make of
Or
this?
sapphire, sorry.
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar site, isn't he?
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Mind
Yeah,
not
the
walking
site where
right
this was
in
found
front of
was
us when we're
Templar
talking.
Castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter. I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
Oh. Hey, do you want to know about this murderous doctor?
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
Oh, well, tell me more about them.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just
Stop
know
walking in
The young
between
man
us.
would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Couldn't you just say no? Or... I'm not sure. Can I see again?
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
I mean, I just saw a doctor murder someone, so maybe. What about the tripod? Tell me all about the exciting tripod.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well,
No, it
I
isn't.
didn't warn you.
Alright,
Why
tell me
don't
more
you loan
about
the
it.
tripod to me for safekeeping.
Yeah.
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point.
I would put it in one of my pockets. Look, I carry plaster of Paris in my pocket. And it hasn't died horribly, so hey. Alright, well tell me about Professor Nigel Pegram.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
July? So he was here in July, was he? Well, actually, I don't know where the conference took place. But everybody who was here in July is being assassinated. So tell me about this manuscript that I haven't told you about
I'd
yet.
like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest?
Don't walk in front of us! We're having a discussion here! Oh, you!
I'd love to see that for myself.
Oh, Grancy Nico. Well, let's get more
Can you tell me
information
anything about
first.
the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were very good.
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
No, tell me more.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Wow, tell me more
Is it
about
true
these
the
exciting
treasure of the
Templars.
Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
I mean, I don't think they're quite like Arthur.
No, not for a minute.
Arthur cannot be proven... Arthur has not been proven to exist, but the Templars have. We have no contemporary reports of Arthur. We have contemporary reports of the Templars and what they did. So they're not exactly like mythical status like Arthur. But tell me about a hanged
Does
man.
the name Montfaucon mean
Montfaucon.
anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death
Thousands?
with row
Wow.
upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Tell me more.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Why? Put up a new gibbet. Well, never mind. Let me tell you that Nico has
The
it.
manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
Definitely a
This
woman.
friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
And you sound not slimy exactly, but certainly not on the up and up there. Alright, well, I guess we can now go to... There we go, Montfaucon. Well, actually, I want to go to the cafe. Oh, he's not back. I wanted to talk to the man and say, hey, stuff, but you're not back yet. If I go here, it just takes me straight back to Nico. Alright, I wanted to see if the old woman... But anyway.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
I came straight
I hope
here.
you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Oh, I didn't come straight
Not at
here.
all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
Cool.
Do you think the assassin was responsible for...
I don't think so.
No, alright.
He was pumped... He would...
Alright, thank you.
I'd better
I'm
get
going
back
to
the
Montfaucon to see what's going on there. Ah, you...
In the middle of the square was a manhole. I wondered if there might be something relevant beneath street level. I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Well, what do you say?
French, English, and German it read, in 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. But let me... Oh.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Because I moved off the bottom, it... Well, that's annoying.
Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone.
Going into the sewers, man.
Sorry, no harm intended.
You stay away from that.
Nah, I will not. Alright, hey, gendarmerie.
I once read a list of low-stress jobs. It didn't include police work.
Let's
Obviously,
talk.
this guy hadn't read the same list. Excuse me, officer.
Do you know what this tool is for?
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
You saw me using it. You're very good at identifying things. How about this exciting gem?
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
Exactly.
So either it's glass or I'm mad. I didn't like to think about that for too long.
How about this photograph?
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say?
Oh. I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
True. How about this photograph?
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is? Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
How about this photograph?
What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
I really want to meet someone who collects used tissues now. Just to completely ignore them. Alright, Hans Gruber?
Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician.
Does this matchbook mean anything?
You want to go to the club element?
Pattern looks Middle Eastern.
Everybody's saying that.
What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
Good guess. You want to shake my hand?
I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
No, they wouldn't.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Aha! A prosthetic nose. Very significant.
It is?
No, I am just having a little joke.
Well, tell me about the Knights Templar.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Exactly. Now, tell me about yourself.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
He said duty. Oh.
Question, monsieur.
Wow, there we go. Thanks very much for your discussions.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Alright, let's go inside then. Ah, that's where it is.
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa! I didn't have time to
Crazy
sit
mad
around.
fool. Alright. What's that over there? It's
A
a...
knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Now we have a statue of... And I would not like to know what that face is.
A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack.
Ooh. Does that mean that you could take it off?
Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
I don't know.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
Not while he's dead, it doesn't.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
Yeah, I wouldn't recognize it either. What are we looking at there?
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. I could see that what had at first seemed to be a fine engraved chasing on the scroll was actually writing. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. Sounds pretty familiar to me. Per disciplinum.
Oh, you can look through it.
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain.
So you're drawn to that.
On the end of the
On the end of this...
Not gonna vandalize it then. Alright, well, let's go out of here. Let's go find... Let's go to the police. Let's see if they've got anything exciting to tell us. Yeah, that's the museum. We'll go to the museum after we've done that. Ah, hello. Still don't know who Robert Overman is or why there's a search
Sergeant
warrant
Moog?
for his
Yes.
place.
I'd like to report an assault.
No, it's the same assault.
Could you... One, their name... No.
Alright, how about this? Do you know
Did I
this?
show you... Yes, miss...
Alright, well, it looks like there's nothing exciting
See you
here
later,
to talk
Sergeant.
about. Not unless I look at this.
It was just some police... It was a search warrant for someone named Robert Overman. Not a name that I recognize.
I wonder if Robert Overman is someone I will recognise later on. Oh, I can use the phone. Who will I call on this phone? No one. Well, that's unsurprising. Out we go. To Musée Crunet. We'll talk, and you will tell me all about the things that you saw.
Hi, Andre.
Stop walking in between us.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
Alright, tell me about the manuscript.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusade.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
Okay, well tell me more.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Come
Tourists?
on.
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Ho 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 ho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Well, tell me more.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They're probably long dead.
Well, thanks very much.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Alright. What's it do? Workers in the local hospital, blah blah blah. Skill. Wow, that lovely guy. Such a look at me. Look how much I know about the Knights Templar. Blah 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 blah. Well, I guess he did know about the Hesh machine. I knew at Montfaucon where I needed to head. Alright, thanks for that. Alright, well, let's go back to Montfaucon. Or Montfaucon. No, I don't really want to speak to you again, police officer. Haven't learned enough to talk to you. Can we spot the owner of the... is a dead person here? Is a specific dead person here? One of those people that we're looking for.
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical reference, I guess.
What about you? Are you that particular knight?
On the end of the... around the...
No. What about you? Are you...
A stone knight laying... carrying all...
What about you?
A stone... I want...
No. Nothing to be done here then.
Well, I could have just... but I want other than...
Would you have been? Yeah, I suppose you would have been deported. Oh, is that? No, that just takes you to the same place. Alright, it's not a different area. That is a shame. Never mind. What if I do the air report? So now I can go to Spain. Alright, well let's go to Rougerie and talk to Nico and say, I'm off to Spain!
Hello, George.
Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What
Does it
business
matter?
is it of yours?
Exactly.
We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
Alright, I'm off to Spain.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Now that I've embarrassed myself with you, I'm off to Spain. Meow. A few hours later. Ah, who's man? We're not getting a rainbow. We are getting a partial rainbow there. Alright. Hello, Hoseman McGee. I just gotta walk in front of the hose. Where are you running off to? I said
There was a crotchety old guy watering the lawn.
Yep.
If this garden was all his own work, he was more capable than he looked.
Well, we're gonna talk to you.
Hi, is this the De Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was gonna be trouble. My name's George Stobar. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
Well, why don't you look at this tool instead?
You know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
Alright, how about this photograph? Have you seen this man coming around? If you do, you should kill him
Do
immediately.
you recognize this man?
No.
He's an assassin. Alright, how about this photograph?
Have you got any use for a fistful of plaster?
No.
How about this photograph?
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them.
How about this gem?
See
Does
this
this gem interest
Men
you?
have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
I mean, men have died for the blood pressure thing that I've just shown you as well.
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
What about this
I don't
lovely,
suppose
lovely
this
nose?
red nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo!
El who?
El Flojo! He is a clown on state television.
Oh. Is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies. Without the laughs.
Alright. Well, tell me about the club.
Do you
You been to a
recognize
club?
this matchbook?
Hip-hop happening
I
guy
don't
like you?
smoke.
This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
I've got only one more thing. It's a long shot. Do you know
Look
this
at this tissue.
lovely used
It's a
tissue?
tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Somehow I didn't
Yes,
think so.
That's right.
Alright, well, tell me
Tell
about
me
yourself.
about the Countess de
Oh, is that the
Vasconcelos.
Countess, is it?
She
Alright.
doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
Yes!
Yeah, that's it. The Countess has won the lottery, and I'm here to give her the check.
Marvelous. May I see it?
No. No, I have to deliver it to her in person.
The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
Oh, for crying out loud. Why'd you lead me on then?
To amuse myself. To make you look a fool. To make you go away.
Yep, I mean, that is largely what you do with scammers.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor. Except the
Pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why?
Why not? Is there a reason he should be great for you? Okay, there's nothing else here.
Going for now.
Yep.
Adios, senor.
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house.
Who knows? Except me, because I've played the game before. And you. Because you can look at a walkthrough. Ooh, can I climb up the trellis?
The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
Alright. Oh, alright, yeah, that's what this is for. I remember!
The hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn. I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
Really? Why? Alright, in we go. Or rather, in we attempt to go before we get sprayed with water. Or don't.
Hey,
But man will stop
Jack,
us,
what
yeah.
is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
I mean, maybe?
No, I guess not.
Depends who they
Then
are.
show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry.
Alright, well, let's do this. I'm gonna cut off the water. So that you don't have... I mean, why I'm using that.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it.
Is that why you're
It's
still
always
employed by the
sad
Countess,
when
is
our
it?
tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my hose has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
Alright, well then, looks like I am going... Oh. In the house anyway.
Hey, you on the stairs.
I'm not on the stair.
I know this doesn't look good, but I...
Where are the
Look,
dogs?
senor, all I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to... use the bathroom.
Yeah, that would be great.
Leave now, please.
Alright,
Okay, I'm going.
now I'm going back inside. Now I'm going to go and disturb the dogs. Now, I'm going to look at this exciting night.
I love suits of armor. Who doesn't?
People who have to polish suits of armor. Oh,
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Come here.
yeah, hello.
I know this doesn't look good, but I...
Look, senor.
All I want is a quiet life.
A life without
Mad house-breaking foreigners.
Look, I just...
Leave.
Okay, I'm...
Alright, well you know what's happening now. I'm going back in. This time, I'm hiding. Shh.
The armor was about my size. I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan.
Yeah, apart from it not working. Alright, so we do that. And then, while you're looking to find the dogs, we will be hiding behind here. You will never see us.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes! Success! Now, while he's not looking, we will go up the stairs.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway,
Aye.
the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
Dun dun dun.
Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they've planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let
Why
me have
not?
a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
Alright. The first thing I want to ask you is, what about this tool?
Maybe not.
How about this photo?
No way.
What about this photo?
No way.
What about this photo?
Maybe not.
What about this photo?
Maybe not.
How about plaster of Paris?
Maybe not.
How about a nose?
Maybe not.
Or a card?
No.
What about an exciting jewel?
No way.
What about a grease-proof flavor?
No.
What if I shake you by the hand and kill you?
That is not a good idea.
Alright, let me talk to you about the Templars
I know
then.
your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart.
Yeah.
The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Oh, tell me more about this
Okay.
line.
Whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess.
Older than your country.
That chess set is over 600 years old.
American.
It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All
They were
in good
taken? That's
time,
not good to hear.
Senor Stobart.
Alright, tell me about the chess set.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a... You! Why, I'll feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
Only
That's
do
my
it
name.
once a week.
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, if I find that you're wasting my time...
I mean, I am.
You will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me.
Ah, this is the building.
Lopez, unlock the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, senor.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Come with
You keep putting your foot in it, don't you?
Hey, senor.
Yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors.
Nothing.
I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
Alright.
This is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
Alright, well, I mean, we can say
Hanging
it can
from the
now.
ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit.
So do
The
we recognise
mausoleum
anybody?
contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble.
What about the empty spot? No? Alright, well, let's have a look. What's that?
It was a
It's a
rod
pole.
with a cone and a hook on the end. I guessed it was for snuffing out the big candle in the chandelier.
But it's never been used, so what, they replaced the stick?
Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again.
There's no reason for you to feel
High
like an
up in
idiot
the
like that.
dome were windows. I guessed they might open them to make it less stuffy in there. I couldn't climb up there without breaking something.
Then break something.
Now what?
Oh, well.
Feeling like
I was going to try and use it to open the video. Alright, the video, the window. The video can
big
open itself.
statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place.
And what's going on
In
here?
front of the shrine was a lectern with a Bible on it. On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey! It's a checkerboard!
It's not a checkerboard.
Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern.
Alright. Well, those are interesting things. Let's talk to you.
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
Tell me about the knights. Why the 5 and an empty one?
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5, 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the De Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes.
The curse? What curse? You
I
haven't
hope
mentioned a
will
curse
honor
before.
My desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now.
Tell me, look at
What's
this
the
checkerboard.
story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart. You cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it?
Alright, well... Virgin Mary.
Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart.
You're talking about the vow of
The
celibacy.
Templars were dedicated
No?
to the
Oh,
Virgin
okay.
Mary.
Alright, well, tell me
You
about
certainly know
Templars.
your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It
Yeah.
was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, we got a game out of it that was pretty cool. Alright, so let's see this.
Do you know what this is?
No, it looks very practical, though.
Oh, we're not going to get no anymore, so how about this photograph?
Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, His face is utterly unfamiliar.
Alright, how about this photograph?
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
Where is this line of questioning going?
Nowhere helpful.
How about this photograph?
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
Alright, what about this plaster?
That is not a good idea.
To show the plaster? Why not? Alright, how about you tell me to go to a club?
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Club Alamut. Not an establishment that I am familiar with, a young man.
What if instead of that I told you I gave you this gem?
No.
You could, you know, sell it.
Would you like to shake hands?
A formal bow will suffice.
She's a countess.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
No, dear. El Flojo, clown in all important aspects. Apart from the one about being funny.
I think clowns are meant to be funny. But let's talk about this chess set.
I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary.
Why? Why would the manuscript be pointing to this?
To understand that the Templars left a puzzle here. And in all of this time, we failed to realize that there was a puzzle.
I'm just a poor, simple American. Shucks, man.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Yeah!
Lopez, put that hose down and listen. Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set.
Woo!
Now hurry. My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't make it too exciting. Don't want your heart to fail.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
Alright, well, tell me more about the Knights Templar while we're here.
I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos? Is he the guy who went missing?
Si. But he had reckoned without the local bishop. The bishop envied us our land and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance.
Oh dear.
Had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again.
Dun dun dun!
Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
Good. Keep on your guard until I've proven myself. That is the way it should be. Everybody is either a friend or an enemy.
It fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
Ah. Each chess piece must be placed in a corresponding hole. Click on an unplaced chess piece and it will turn to reveal a pattern in its place. Likewise, click on any hole on the board and it will reveal a pattern. Each chess piece must be dragged onto the hole and its corresponding pattern. To do this, drag the piece to the correct hole on the chessboard. Try to put a piece in the wrong hole, it will jump back to its side. So... Oh, okay, well this is different. Show me the bottom. How do I look at the bottom of a piece. Show me the bottom of a piece somehow? Otherwise it's just going to be trial and error, and I don't want it to just be trial and error. How do I see the bottom? Okay, I can't leave here either. Alright, okay, so I'm just going to have to try it. Just clicking it. Right. So, red, white, blue, green. Red, white, blue, green. Yeah, look, now I'm trying to do that. White, blue, red, green. White, blue, red, green. Nope. Stop. I want to move you. There we go. Blue, red, green, green. Blue, red, green, green. Come on. Ugh. Green, white, red, blue. Green, white, red, blue. Green, white, red, blue. There we go. Oh, come on. Am I not clicking in the right place? Right, okay, so. Green, white, blue, red. That was over here. Nope. 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 Must be that one then. Yeah, no. There we go. Blue, white. That's you. Yep. Come on. Red, green, green, blue. Red, green, blue, green. Look at that! They're all fitted! Yeah! That's an interesting one.
In place, the square bases fit onto the white pieces. I just had to figure out where to place them.
So I meant to place them in places where they cannot be captured. I mean, I could just do every piece. Right, so you're a king. You can't go there because you'll be in check. You can go there. No? Presuming that is a bishop. Alright, so I've got a bishop. I don't know. There? No. Am I trying to place them? Oh, are they just going on this line or something? Oh, am I trying to put you in check? Right, so it's definitely that. So if I go there, alright. So what am I trying to do? Am I trying to make you in check? If that were true, then I think I would put you here. So I guess the white pieces have to. Right, so you're in check, so you have to move. But you can move there. Maybe you shouldn't go there. Maybe you should go there, because then you're covering that place and you're not in check anywhere. But you...
Bingo.
There we go. Yep, there we go, because now you can't go anywhere. Alright. Ooh! Ho ho ho!
Senor Stobart, look!
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
Wow, that would be impressive if it was.
It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure.
It's not my moment of triumph. I might have solved the puzzles, but this belongs to you and your family.
The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So the curse of the De Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no.
The Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice, but there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
Yeah, why not?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will.
Alright, well... Hey, look at the chalice!
This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger?
Yeah, seems weird.
Shot of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother.
I don't want to say... I mean, if you're both consenting adults, and you agree you love one another, there's nothing wrong with it. But tell me about Labino.
How long have you known Labino?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresher. Showed me around, that sort of thing.
You never told me that before. I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much. A little lesser at the front, perhaps. I'd forgotten how much fun he could be.
Well,
let's take another look at the manuscript.
Yes, let us. Alright, okay, so that's you.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
No.
There's a guy working on a loom. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
I don't know.
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
That's the same phrase as the one in the other place, but I don't know.
Two guys.
There we go. Alright, and if I say it...
The assassin...
Oh.
He would...
Alright, okay. Looks like I'm going somewhere else then.
I'd better get back to the quest.
The quest! Dun, dun, dun. Alright, I think this is... Alright, now let's just do a little bit more. Sergeant Moo, would you like to see this exciting chalice I found, Sergeant Moo? It's amazing.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes?
Chalice?
What do you think of this chalice, Sergeant?
Not much.
It's over 600 years old.
It looks it. I wouldn't drink from that rusty old thing if I was you.
I won't. I'm not even going to ask about Queen Anne.
See you later, Sergeant.
Now we're going to go to the Rougerie. No, sorry, not Rougerie. I want to go to the caf. So I'm going to stop here.
George.
Hello. I'm leaving immediately. Cafe. Nope, you're still not back. Because I wanted to talk to you. Alright. So... let's go to the museum. Let's talk to you.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
Yeah, look what I found.
What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for, identifying exactly what I knew, but, I mean, it's good that you could tell that from a glance. It's impressive. Alright, off to Montfaucon. You know what we're going to find at Montfaucon? Oh, first of all, we're going to talk to you about the chalice. And see if you'll have a drink out of it.
What does this chalice suggest to you?
Wine.
Oh.
Does this red note... Aha! It is?
Alright, okay, thanks very much. Don't need to talk anymore. Up the steps. Ah, why is the mouse not working? Up the steps, there we go. And now, Let's have a look around here and see what we can find. He's a scholar and a gentleman and something else. Alright there, you. I desperately want to pull that thing off the end. That's not where I clicked. I clicked on this.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack.
That nobody in all the time had seen before, so pull it off.
Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
Alright, well, let's look at these people then.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat.
What about you?
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
What about you?
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world, I guess.
Oh. I was wrong. I thought that coming back here we would find the knight.
A symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell.
Indeed.
I could see per disciplinum sounds per discipline. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
Alright. I thought we were coming back here to identify a knight. Oh, wait a second. Come back. Just see this over here. No, that's not a thing.
I didn't have...
Nope, I didn't mean for you to do that. I meant for you to leave over here. None of you guys are clickable, are you? Nobody up there? None of these two? Nope, not you. Not you, not you. Alright. Well, I know that Flap and Guido are planning on stealing the tripod at some point, so let's go and see. Oh, let's go see if we can trigger that. I don't think so, because you're still there. So if I do this, no? Oh. Then I cannot remember what I have to do next. Do I want to go back to Spain?
No. Okay, okay.
Do I want to talk to you about things again?
Hi, Andre.
Hello.
No?
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Is there somewhere I can go? I can't go back to Spain. I can't go to Ireland, so I must still need to be in Paris. What do I need to do in Paris? Alright. Let's talk to you again. Let's try the Flap Guido thing.
Sorry,
yes.
I'd like to...
Yes, monsieur?
I'm out. They stopped.
Could you...
What? Their names...
No.
Alright.
Are you...
Don't try...
Don't try my patience.
I told you...
Does this...
You're...
Would you like...
Not to...
Alright, well then. I guess this is not anything. So I have done the Poste de la Police. I've done the museum through there. Let's go to a cafe. Can I talk to you then? Are you wanting to... Ah, you are a person I can talk to about things. I don't know what you will know.
Hi there, remember me? Ah, mais oui, Inspector. Have you found him?
Not
Who?
yet.
The man in the sewer, of course.
I'm sifting through the evidence.
Rather you than me, monsieur. So, when you are not exploring sewers, what do you do?
I take a lot of showers.
Oh, very good, monsieur. A policeman with a sense of humor.
Alright.
Hi there. Who? I'm,
So,
Alright, okay. You don't want to figure responses for that, that's fine. What about over here? I need to go back down into the sewers. So... I've done the police, I've done the cafe, I've got the museum, and I've got Montfaucon. Okay, well let's talk to you, see if you know anything more.
Excuse me.
It's the red nose again.
It is?
I don't know why that keeps triggering.
Little and poor moment.
Shouldn't you be...
You,
yeah?
Which?
Yeah.
And
I didn't think it was any of those
I'll
things.
see you around.
Alright.
monsieur, I'll be there.
If it's not this, well, then I don't know what's going on. And I don't.
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
Alright.
I didn't recognize the...
I mean, you're a scholar.
A stone... A stone...
Okay, let's look at this then.
A statue of a... The statue had any... The stat... On the end of the... Around the... Well, I could have, but I wanted other than...
I don't think that's... Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well then, let's leave this place and go to a different place. We'll go back to Rougerie. We'll ask some questions of Nicole, and then back to the museum. And then if that is not it, well then I think I am stuck. And I'll have to think deeply. I mean, I remember what was going to happen. I don't know if it's at this point or not, but there's... Oh, we'll go to the roof first of all. I know there's a priest there who's going to be
Hello, George.
rubbing things. So who would be...
Do you think the...
I don't... Besides...
It was pumped. He wouldn't have... Let's take a...
Yeah, let's have a look.
Look at that.
There's a guy between...
Yeah.
There's a guy... There's a woman, but the reflect... A knight with a night scroll bears a phrase through my teeth.
Alright. Well, I don't know what's going on there. Let's have a look at the history thing and see what it says. Spain Villa, find the thing. Countess, find a chessboard puzzle. Find the missing knight. You found it. Mansell was day. Search for his children until his dying day. There's been a curse. New puzzle solving skills. We found the chalice. Find out what happened to Don Carlos. I've got the chalice. Now I have to follow that lead from Ireland and explore Montfaucon further. Alright. But there's nothing there. I mean, I can do this, but I know this won't work.
Hey, you're... In French, in third, and X in the follow. Their grand...
There's nothing else to look at around here, is there, that I've missed? Because that is my most frequent thing with mystery puzzles. Missing an area.
I didn't have time to sit around.
Yes, you
row
did.
of old pew. I thought of all the firm, the flat... That... Whoa!
Alright, can I use a chalice on any of these things? I mean, I don't see why that would work. This is the old adventure game logic. Use chalice on everything. Huh? Can't use the gem on this, right? No, didn't think so. No, didn't think so either. No.
Somehow it looked...
Yeah, I get that. Okay. You are hiding your secrets well.
The stat... On the end of this... Around the base...
Well, then take it off.
Well, I could have... But I wanted it other than...
What if I told you to do that? No. Or if you smear grease on stuff? No. Or if you use the chalice on stuff? No, I didn't think so. Alright. One last thing. Back to the museum. Because, I mean, I know how. Alright, let me talk to you again.
Hi, Andre.
Hello.
No, 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 no. Okay.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
And I know that... What do you mean,
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
What?
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
It used to be that you needed to open the window so that he would close it while you were hiding in the mummy costume. In the sarcophagus. Oh my god. That is... Grr. Ah, Flaff and Guido.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Yep.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
It's the cat burglar! Dun, 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 dun.
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own
You
feet.
were always
I just wish
unconscious.
you'd told me
Already
your
unconscious,
plans.
sorry.
We're supposed to be in this together. But how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
Alright, well, let's look at the manuscript then.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Yeah, now we've got that.
Nights through my...
Alright, I think this is where we have to go back to Montfaucon now.
There's a guy...
Alright, thanks very much.
Better get back to the quest.
We'll leave the Oh, I'm taking the tripod, am I? Oh, okay. Well, now to Montfaucon. Ah ha ha! See, this is what I was looking for. I know what to do at this puzzle.
Excuse me, officer.
Hey, look at the tripod!
Medieval ironmongery. Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod? What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
No, you're right.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
1 second. So what happens if we try showing the tripod to these people? Oh, let's look at that and see what it says.
The case was empty.
What about this? The fish was back on the top.
The totem pole looked distinctly out of place.
Alright. Hey! You know what I stole?
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie.
I stole the tripod. No? Alright, okay.
Thanks for your help, Andre. You're welcome.
Nobody wants to talk about the tripod. I
Pardon
suspect
me,
the same
we
is
miss
going
you?
to happen here.
Do you
Tripod!
recognize this tripod?
It is vaguely familiar.
I should think it is.
Very similar to the one which we used to have here at the museum. In fact,
That's what I thought.
but this is obviously a poor copy.
Right. Thanks for your help.
Alright. Well, we're going to go to the police and we're going to say, hey, look at this thing I stole. I definitely stole it.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
See you later,
Maybe we're not.
Sergeant.
Alright. Montfaucon. We're going to go up to the top. We're going to ignore all these tourists. Because there should be a priest here now. Yeah!
A priest stood by the pews, energetically polishing something.
Let's talk to the priest.
Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
Tell me about this tool. I love this tool.
I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
Alright then, how about this photograph?
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
And about this
I've got a
photograph?
medieval tripod.
Monsieur, you are a walking treasure house.
What about this tripod?
Maybe not.
What about this photograph?
I was in Ireland recently and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
Ow! Alright, how about a club? You want to go to a
Maybe
club?
not.
Look at
I've
my
got a
nose.
red nose.
Oui, so you have.
How about I shock you?
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest.
Yes, you could.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
How about this for a gem?
Yeah.
It is very beautiful, monsieur. And yet, I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
Oh. Alright then, let's talk about things. Tell me about the statue.
Do you speak Latin?
You ask this of a priest?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell me what per disciplinum meam lux videbus means?
Let me see. That would be, by my teachings, you will see the light. I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Alright, tell me about the stained glass.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was
Oh,
found
no.
in the church, early 14th century.
Oh man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Alright, tell me
How
about
long have you
yourself.
worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
Alright, what about this chalice?
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know. It is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
Please do.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks.
Off we go to look around. Are we going to magically see it now, or do we need to see the thing on the polishing?
My God. On the end of the stack, around the base of the disc.
Oh, well, let's...
Well, I could have just, but other than...
No.
The statue.
Well, statue, you're doing exactly the same.
A scholarly... I could see that what had it sounds...
Yes, we know what it means. We know. Look through the thing and see it. Ooh.
Hoping for a big...
Not really. If they had centuries and money to do this, then they could have built it.
A stone knight lay in full... carrying all... A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy... In comparison to its neighbor, it... I didn't recognize... Somehow it looked...
Alright.
The priest
Are you
was
done?
still busy with the chalice.
What if I leave the church?
I didn't have time to sit around. A row of old... I thought of all the people... All those firm... But that...
Oh, the fame.
Whoa!
There we go. Stop thinking of buttocks. I don't know if there's anything else we can look at in here.
I didn't have time.
Let's try leaving. Or whether it's going to say, I couldn't leave, the chalice is there. Because I don't know what else to do in here. I can leave. Do I have the chalice? I do not have the chalice. Alright. Well then.
The juggler was good. Why he couldn't put that kind of application into getting a real job, I had no idea.
Because entertainers are great.
There was a small crowd of 5 sightseers. It's a weird thing, but you can take the most intelligent people in the world, put them in their vacation duds, and hey presto, they look like morons. Why is that?
Let me
Excuse me,
tell you about the... No, okay.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
Let's talk to the juggler. Because we're gonna go into the sewers of Montfaucon.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
Let me ask you about this tool!
This gadget is a sewer key.
I do not want it. Thank you.
I'm not offering it to you.
I'm not
It's
selling it. I
mine!
your opinion.
It is hardly my area of expertise.
Alright, what about this photograph?
Have you seen this man before?
No.
What about this photograph?
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
You work in a lab.
No, try again.
You steal lab passes?
No. Well, not as a habit. This was a special case.
Indeed. What about this photograph?
Does this grease paint mean anything to you?
It looks like one of mine, or at least another jongleur.
Or a clown?
Mais naturellement, a clown.
Hardly a breakthrough.
Alright, tell me about the red
A red
nose.
nose.
Oh, you say, whoop-de-doo.
What about plaster of Paris?
Does plaster interest you?
Well,
Forget it. Forget that I asked.
You know what? You look like a fun guy. Do you want to come out to the club with
Does
me?
this matchbook mean anything to you?
you
No?
smoke.
No, I don't.
In that case, it means nothing to me.
What if I
It
shake
didn't
your
seem right
hand?
to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands.
Oh, alright. What about a
I've
tripod?
got a medieval tripod.
And my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable. Is it real?
I think so.
No.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
Oh, well, tell me about the
What do
Knights
you know
Templar.
about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques Dumoulin, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Alright.
How
Well,
did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
no.
A juggler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contre-gravitique aeroballetique mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
Tell me again.
That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Watch this. I'm great at it. Watch me throw the balls
I have
up
no
and
idea
down.
what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how
Ho
difficult.
ho 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 ho. Nobody likes me.
Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
And you can do that on the
No, I
internet
guess
nowadays, from the comfort of your own home. But before we do that, hey, you're going to inspire me to do a thing.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Let me red nose you.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No. Although you juggle like one. Now, If I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing, and not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur. You had it.
Well, there we go. Thank you for inspiring me.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
Time to use my nose, my secret weapon.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, bad.
I have certainly crashed something.
I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Of course I do.
Okay, now for my secret weapon.
See, I remembered the word secret weapon. Oh, I don't remember that.
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
Yay!
Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still.
Oh, I desire it, sir. I desire this red ball more than anything.
For a change.
Oh. And you're just going to stand there. Well, I'm going to go back into the church. Are you shiny? I don't think so. Because you're not
was still
pinging.
busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church.
I'm pretty sure it goes ding when you're done. Alright, before we go down into the sewers, which I think will be the last thing we do today, down into the sewers, we're going to go to the no, not the Rouge area, the cafe. Nope, man is still not back with his winnings. Alright. So back to Montfaucon. And we will use the sewer key. I think this is the last we can do before we get to the painted Stobart stick towel. This is... Oh no, we're keeping it. That's great. I can't remember what else it's used on though. But I am going down into the sewers. Attempts to thwart the robbery in the museum. I was hindered by a shoddy totem pole, but then a figure swooped down from the ceiling like some kind of superhero. The masked saviour was Nico. I guess she did a good job. We do have the tripod, and I found the gem. Next move is to head to the side of Montfaucon and see if we can figure out what to do with them. Paris Montfaucon. Fooled an idiot juggler, or jongleur, as he wanted to be called. And now, here I go again, into another sewer. Yeah, look at all these places.
If I wanted to get deeper into these catacombs, I was going to have to get onto that path. If I wanted to get deeper in it, if the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily.
Ah. Well, what have we got here then?
A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around. Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near. On the boat was a winching machine.
That doesn't seem likely that it's used for maintenance because they can't get under these bridges. Alright, let's go down there, deeper into the sewers. Oh! Look at that. It's the hanging thing.
The door was a handsome piece of work.
Excuse me, can we open it?
I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked.
I'm not sure I remember this. This particular screen here. I thought it was just, oh, you can't go anywhere. There's nothing down there. What have we got on here then?
There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. There were 3... The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence.
And this one?
There were... The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The wall seemed in very poor condition. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
Oh, let us use this. Winch away as much chain as we possibly can. Then, let's look at the chain.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. The hook lay
pick
in
it
a
up.
bed of chain.
Can I not?
The wall had...
Can I not? Do I need to... I mean, I know what I have to do here. What I need to do is grab that chain and put it on this door. But obviously I'm missing something.
The wall had...
There's something... Oh. Of course.
It was time for some brutal destruction.
It's time to use the tool. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, that's hollow. I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Close up, I could see the plaster was thinner where I'd broken through, and behind it were some cogs and a lever.
And let's use this lever.
The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap.
No, you couldn't, but you can pick up the hook. Ah, do it automatically. Oh, I could have sworn I needed more clicks. There we go. Onwards! Alright. Well, I know what is to come. I do not know if they have still got the same end screen, because there's a way to die here, and they've removed the last one with Flap and Guido, so we're going to save. And here we're going to save it. Meeting! Oh. Oh, that is interesting. It shrank because I pressed enter rather than... There we go. It shrank because I pressed enter rather than clicking on confirm. Alright. Here we are. Let's look... No, let's just go down and see what happens.
At the bottom of the steps, I could see a glow. I could hear voices from the lit area. It seemed a good moment to be cautious.
No.
It seemed a...
No.
I
want to die. It was great. It was... This is it. The conspirators revealed the whole conspiracy. And then you were just dead.
There was a crack in the wall. Through it, I could see a glimmer of natural light.
I'm pretty sure I've still got my original
In
CDs
the
of this.
beginning was the end. An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness. In the end will be a beginning.
The Doctor, the Professor, and I don't know the other one.
Heralds our new day. Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex
that's not
for their own
untrue.
executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
Winning a Nobel Prize?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present. Ha! But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund
Don't
dealt
think he
with
was.
him
Why was
on
he?
my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
I already told you one.
We
We've
already
got our
know
stuff.
3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition the next time that we meet. it will be to become the princess of this world.
Wow.
Oh. In the original version, all of that happened, but you had to look down this hole several times, and you could go down there and kill yourself, which was a shame that we can't see it now. So down we go. Boring old thing. And now we're in this place looking at things. What's
The
the
water
water?
seemed to belong to an underground river or something. It was way too deep to belong to the catacombs.
That means they've got sewers with water flowing around them above water. Okay. Oh, what do we got here?
There was a large circle marked out on the floor with a stump in the middle. Around the circle, I could see words inlaid into the stone. On the circle's circumference were the Templar seal and 2 Latin phrases, Non omnis moriar and Clarior e tenebris. I shall not die completely, the brighter from the darkness.
Well. Okay, sorry. Right, let's not do that. Let's look at that. Look.
I noticed 3 small notches around the edge of the stump's top.
Tripod is a
in the middle of the
3-pronged
circle
thing.
was a stump of stone, a shaft of daylight from the world above lancing down to touch it.
So a tripod can go on this. Look at that.
The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump.
The fact that they were meeting around this and didn't know its significance. They have lost a lot of knowledge. And I have a lot of guessing. Ooh. Before we do that. Hey, it's a red ball.
I got from the juggler.
Yeah.
The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5
Mary.
neat rays. And each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
Probably a country. No, not back in the... Oh, well, I guess.
I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
I tried desperately to kill myself, but it didn't work.
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria. But they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Sounds good. Alright. Look at this red ball I found.
No.
No? But it's an exciting red ball.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Alright, yep. One last time.
The nights through my... There's a... between...
I could have sworn that when you found out things, it changed what was said.
Look at...
Alright, okay.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
It is, but before we go there, we need to go back to Montfaucon. Oh, you're back again. How you doing? Cafe man.
You're back. Oui, I have returned.
Oh, where have you been?
Well, I wasn't expecting to see you back here again.
No? Well, it is a strange thing, but I am here on duty.
On duty?
But you're just sitting there drinking wine.
No, I am not just drinking wine. I am undercover.
I must be missing something. You're in uniform.
Precisely, monsieur. My cover is that of an indolent, wine-guzzling police officer.
You've got me convinced.
Merci. But in reality, my every muscle is poised, every nerve honed. I am drawn tight, ready to pounce. Dang!
Who or what were you planning to pizzang on?
You must have heard, monsieur, of the terror that is gripping Paris.
You mean the killings? Oh, at last, someone's taken action.
People die every day. No, I am on the trail of Sewer Jacques.
Who?
Sewer Jacques, the terror of the subterranean city. He pops up here, he pops up there. The cops, they seek him everywhere. Is he so hush or beneath the neck? That damned elusive Sewer Jacques.
Bravo, that's very good.
Merci. I was up half the night writing that.
Well, there we go. That was an interesting thing to be hearing. Why would you do that? Let's hope nobody else is coming through the sewers again. Alright, into the place and see if they finished shining the shiny thing. Well, actually, no. Let's show you the red ball and finish the conversation before. Go on.
No way.
No, still nothing.
Who is this Sewer Jacques character anyway?
Ah, if we but knew that, we could have him in custody in an hour. But he is cunning. To despoil the sewers of our fair city, he has committed many deceptions.
How many?
He has pretended to be a police officer and deluded a poor war veteran.
Uh-oh.
He has pretended to be a jongleur.
Wow, is that the time?
And an American tourist. What nationality are you, monsieur?
Canadian.
Well, gotta go now. See ya. Well, it's not everyone who can say they started an urban myth.
No, you're right. Not everybody can do that. Are you done?
The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church.
I'm going to leave you doing that, and I'm going to go to Syria. It shouldn't take me too long to polish it. Well, okay, I'm going to go to Syria then. I don't think there's anything that I'm missing there. So, Marib. Let us arrive in Marib. A few hours later. And here we are. And this is where we're going to end for the day. In Marib. Alright, everybody. It has been great that you have been here. I am Richard, and this has been LMTD TM FFR, or say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels. And we'll be back with more Broken Sword tomorrow. Until then, have fun, everyone.